All right, cyber traders, good afternoon and welcome on back here this Monday, January 25th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. Should be good to go across both ends here, across our live trading room cyber group. And for all of us joining on social media, Facebook Live and YouTube, welcome on back. Great to see all of us joining us here inside cyber group, though. Leda, Mario, Sharon, James, just a few of our students joining us here live. Great to see you all. Perfect. And of course, I have to shout out my guy Grant, who sent over. I want to give Grant. I'll give you a quick shout out. You know, whether you like deer meat or not, to eat, and whether you like the subject, we're not going to talk about. But Grant ended up very graciously sending me over a nice package of deer meat. So I appreciate that. Grant actually came out very nicely. So like to just give him a quick shout. But nonetheless, though, we have class on the horizon later on today, folks. At 3 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be continuing along the Phase 2 stock course curriculum. We'll be talking all about preparing to trade the live market open. So it's a bit of a three-part series actually we have within the Phase 2 stock course. We'll explain more at the top of the hour, but with that in mind, I'd like to go pretty quick. We have the CBAT trade here up on the screen to start. I know one of our students, Chuck, give him a quick shout out too. I think he picked up like 25 or 30 cents on this trade just now. Is in from like 857, ran it up pretty well. So the CBAT trade just made a nice pop and drop from 9. Great trade from Chuck. I just copied and pasted the news actually inside the chat board for all of us just a moment ago. So if you want to scroll up, just right above, you'll see. And for all of us on Facebook Live and YouTube, you should be able to see right there. CBAT, I'll be honest, a whole bunch of stuff above my pay grade. Reports partnership with a company to jointly develop battery swapping project, UPS project, no terms disclosed. So, you know what? I'm not going to dig into the news much further than that. We kind of talked about that very briefly inside our Phase 1 stock course just last week. But the CBAT trade up until now is kind of been a bit of a disappointment. So, I had made this big pop shortly after 9 a.m. Eastern Time off that news snippet, off that headline. And from there, just totally dumped off. It was really disappointing. Now, I guess you should say up until it ended up ultimately bouncing from the low 750. If you were watching this the whole way through, you're able to catch a potential bounce down the line at 750. You threw 8 on the way up. And, now at this point, after dying off for quite a bit, now at this point, this stock is making a hell of a nice run. So re-breaking through 850, Chuck catching his 25 or 30 cent trade. And yeah, for right now, I don't mind putting this on our main watch list for the afternoon. I don't know if this will make our big move up that we're hoping to see, but given the activity here so far to start, I don't mind putting this on our list to begin, putting more of a spotlight on it. All right. So with that, though, folks, like I'd said, class coming up at 3 p.m. Eastern. So let's just go from top to bottom, see what else we can get here. Scan pretty quickly. The Amtx. So, for any of these others that we ended up trading, we'll kind of go over quick. I do have my Bitcoin chart, and I was able to fix my screen issue. So, we'll actually be able to load up my Bitcoin chart, show Riot, show Mara. I don't think that we'll be trading them heading into the afternoon. It doesn't look like that we will, but I'll show it though nonetheless for continuity. Amtx, though, to begin here, top percent gainer up 117%. It took a while to get the gears going. It was active in pre-market off of news, popped, I guess, after the open, but died off from there. And then shortly after, like 10 o'clock, 10:30, you could see it started to break higher. More buying came in. Very shaky stock, though, so still came back down. And, my eyes were off this trade, at least at that point. I mean, by 10:30, we were in the morning, class for Phase 2. But, after that point, it looks like it ended up re-breaking higher once it snuck above 750 again. So perhaps we'll have a chance to cover this inside our Traders Talk workshop tomorrow. That's our live workshop that we host every Tuesday right here in the Cyber Group Trading Room. For all of us live on Facebook Live, YouTube, make sure that you folks click the banner below, sign up for our trading room, join us live tomorrow. We'll have a chance to cover that. So, hey, for all of our students inside our trading room, hey, send your trades over. Email them to me. If it's the AMTX, if it's the EXPR trade, I'm going to skip number 2, Warren. But, if it's the EXPR trade, hey, send it over if you had trouble on this express trade after the market opened, at least. This was really steady in pre-market. I know only a few of us were able to catch this prior to 8 o'clock Eastern when most pre-markets open up. Most brokers open up at 8 o'clock. Some will open up at 7 o'clock. Some open up as early as 4 o'clock. So nonetheless, after 7 a.m., once the news came out, we ended up seeing this make a huge pop from 260, ran all the way up towards the pre-market high, as you folks could see. After 8 o'clock, that was at like 475 roughly, and came back down. Really quickly, one of our trial members inside our trading room, Manzoor, is asking, are trial members allowed to attend the class? Well, this afternoon's class coming up, unfortunately not. That doesn't come as part of your trial membership. If you're looking to learn more about that, just talk to your personal education advisor here inside our trading room. They'll talk to you more about the classes. As far as traders talk, if that's what you're asking about, then yes, that comes with your trial membership inside our trading room. And actually, not only that, it comes with all of like the archived weekly versions that we've done, back from weeks past. All right, so I just wanted to give you the full answer on that, Mansour. Nonetheless, though, the express trade, man, I didn't take this short, but I'll say, whereas we always talk about it crapping out the other way, this is shortable. This was shortable on TradeStation. I hope it was shortable if you were not using TradeStation. Nonetheless, this broke down beautifully after the market opened from 4 a few times, once, twice, and then most recently the pop and drop here. It's easy to say. I was going over this inside a coaching session with a student, just saying, hey, it's easy to say. What if we waited for this to make the false breakout over 4, and then once it broke back under 4, you look for the short? Easy to say in hindsight, but it goes to show that this is, a good stock to study from and learn, why this stock made a false breakout and what happens once you can begin to see it do so. Well, what the end aftermath is. Dropped off like 50 cents. At this point now, I'm not as keen to watch this for the afternoon. It's like trading in a much tighter range. I feel like it fizzled out after this false breakout from 4. So, definitely keep it in mind for the remainder of this week. Definitely beginning tomorrow. And even if it's hard to borrow, you still watch it. So, definitely we'll keep our focus on this come, tomorrow and later on. OEG, man, this thing's been pushing back up. This thing had a similar pop at like 8:30, I guess this one more so. But after the market opened, some consolidation popped up towards a high of like right around 780-ish and pulled back. And then up until now, I mean, I wasn't expecting much of this, really. It's like my first kind of look at this since like maybe 12 o'clock, 12:30. So I guess it broke over 8, re-broke over 8. I want to zoom in on this chart, though, because it kind of looks like it had a tough time. Popped from like, oh geez, like 779, like a 70-cent candle, up to 849, pulled all the way back down to where it had broken out from pretty much. That's why it's been so shaky around this 8 level, just kind of holding it here and then just consolidating up and down through it. Hopefully now it becomes a much cleaner trade, but yeah, for the meantime, I'll kind of keep this on our list. OEG. I think this made the cut on the morning watch list Fausto put on. All right, what else we got here, folks? ANY, I saw this called out earlier. I feel like it can kind of fizzle out pretty quick. I'm going to actually reload this scan here. I'll show you something. Yeah, 5.7 million share float. That's pretty low by all standards. So, this is the type of stock that is very boom or bust, that can make a very, sharp pop, that can make a very big move up, or nonetheless can make a big drop off. So, after a big pre-market move, or rather, I should say, after a big move heading into the early afternoon, just died off right from there. All right, we'll keep the train rolling. IZEA popped up earlier. Nice steady move up towards 750, 744. I reckon. And then, I guess kind of pretty choppy now. I guess it's moving back up, higher lows building here and moving back up to 7. So if it could re-break that 7, that's a potential setup to look into. And that's something we'll talk about in class later on today. Like I said, for all of our students inside Cyber Group, keep in mind, like phase 2, we'll be talking about setups. We'll be, and more so relating it to pre-market, but this is a good setup for the afternoon off 7. You see the iceberg order there. It's an active resistance level. It's underneath it. There's time to set the order up just in case. And you know what? Maybe I'll kind of sell myself on putting this on our main list. I'll keep it on the side, though, for right now. Come back to it at the very end. Let's see if there's anything looking, just a little bit better, perhaps. Bingo. BNGO. Squeezing back on up once again. Man, with this breaking back over 13 now, hopefully it becomes a lot cleaner of a move. I feel like there's been a lot of volume altogether traded off of 13. You can see a lot of these larger spikes of volume just, prior or after 2 o'clock ended up making that kind of shimmy over and under and back over 13. And, at this point, it's just been very shaky since. So for the meantime, I'll add it to our list. I kind of put this above the IZEA, if anything. Let's see if there's anything looking even better. AMC, all of these stocks were pumped up by the retailers. the Wall Street Bets people and all of those folks, and now pretty much not just those people, but anyone now following these stocks like AMC or BB or PLTR, the stocks from Friday that got those big moves up like GameStop. You got to expect similarity between them now. CAPR, nice push up right now. I saw Rich call this out inside the trading room earlier, heading into the afternoon. I saw him write CAPR new highs, so it doesn't surprise me that this is making this push. But I took my eyes off it for a few minutes here myself. So nice move up, testing 750. Actually, a pretty good setup in its own right at 750. Not much on the time and sales to work off of though is 750. So I'd be careful right now at this price. But yeah, CAPR, I like where it's at as far as the trend. PSTV pushing back up. This is another, I feel like, a low float stock. I don't know the float exactly. Let's see. Is it 4.78? 4.48 million share float right here. You can see my cursor. But getting back to the chart, hey, it's pushing back up to the highs right now. 26,000 share order on the ask right now at 325. So another good setup right there for the taking. This one I'll put on our list with hopes of this making a really nice afternoon move. Just be careful though, as I just said, out as good as it looks, the volume could die off on this trade rather fast, and when that happens, you don't want to get trapped. Givo with another pop. I saw Donnie call this out earlier off 1350, if I'm not mistaken. Popped right through there, right through 14, Donnie, right up to 1450 on the way back down. Unless if, oh no, actually maybe you call that 1450 right off the high of the day here. Kind of popped it right up towards 1450 and pulled back. Yeah, I mean, very active stock right now, so hopefully it maintains this trend, although I feel like this pop is a little too extra. I feel like this might pull right back down here. Be careful of like a dump off back below 1350, and if it holds under 1350, that's not good. So, as of right now, it's still, I guess, maintaining that trend of higher lows building. Hopefully it makes another pop through resistance very shortly and maintains another move back up. But yeah, Chivo, definitely I'll put on our main list. All right, let's see what else we got. I don't think we have much more VVPR. We've seen this stock in the past. I'll look at it. Not much going on here, though, on the 1 minute chart. AQMS, familiar name, former runner. Looks like it's running right now, actually. Nice. Good timing, actually. I wasn't even... I didn't really look at this much before going into the meeting, too. A lot of this stuff is good timing. So I guess now at this point, I could say new high of the day. Still has a little bit more to go up towards its pre-market high right off 620 is that. So looks like it's ready to make that move now. For the meantime, it looks like a big hammer on the daily chart, given the big drop off from the morning, the recovery, of course, and now hopefully now to see this push up higher. If it doesn't push up higher today, don't be surprised over time if it pushes up, across this week. This could be a good swing trade opportunity. Just not to say right here, right now, but maybe wait for it to pull back, and if it can get back up higher, make another higher low and push back up. Something to consider. I don't mind putting this on our list either way as a day trade. I don't know if I'll swing trade it myself. I reckon I'll let you folks know later on. I got class, of course, later on today, so probably not, and that's probably my answer. But yeah, it looks like a good day trade at the least heading into the afternoon. AQMS. Let's see what else we got here. You know what? I'll give Donnie a quick shout out here too. I don't know if it's good day trade right now itself, but AUPH, Donnie slipped me a little note saying there would be some type of FDA type approval on AUPH going into Friday, or I think it was today. Nonetheless, though, back Friday, it made a pop and drop, and now a big gap up this morning. Oof, Donnie, I wish I took your advice, man. Looks like you were right. He said he just saw it. Oh, man. Yeah. All right. We'll hop over to the losers list here just in a second. Want to check out DVAX, rightfully so. See, sometimes folks, you'll just know a quick little scanning tip for the day. And I really mean it. Sometimes you'll just see a familiar name on the gainers or losers list and say, we've traded the stock in the past. Let me just take a quick look. And DVAX was exactly that stock right now. This looks like, honestly, one of, if not the best stock that we've covered so far on our watch list. It goes right to the top. right up to 650. Just beautiful trend, tight spread, liquid order book. This is everything that you would want to see out of like a tradable stock heading into this afternoon. So perfect. All right, let's hop over to the losers list now. I'm not even going to look at GameStop, although I see it there at the bottom. By look, I mean click on it. All right, let's see. A bunch of stuff hard to borrow near the top of the losers list. No surprise there. Really a bunch of stuff we can't short or really, look to trade. Not much that's like down enough. Man, really, there's a whole bunch of garbage here on the losers list. Honestly, I mean, Fausto would be the first to say that himself if he was doing this meeting. AMRS, shortable, just flat. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, coming off our class from Friday for all of our students inside the trading room, why don't you answer this question for me? And I briefly wrote this much earlier in the morning. So if you were there in the morning, perhaps you'll get it from that. But otherwise, you might know just, from seeing it yourself. What is later on this week? What do we got going on later on this week? We got a bunch of earnings, Bonnie. We'll talk about that in class at the very end of the day. I'll slip that for all of our phase 2 students there. At the Fed, we got the FOMC here. So that'll be on tomorrow, the 26th, Tuesday, and that extends into Wednesday, the 27th. So you're probably going to see a lot of slow action within the markets entirely. So you can see like the Dow right now just looks like flat, looks lifeless. That does not surprise me now at this point. So I'll tell you, I think that I'm pretty content with this list. Folks, if there's anything by any chance that's like up, down, like, 5-10% or more, that's like, making a really good move. We have a member on YouTube here. How about this? I'm just going to pop it up there for him. What is the next GameStop? What is the next GME stock that we're going to look to trade? Well, I'll tell you, we started off with a pretty good list here thus far. I like that DVAX, although I don't think it's going to make that type of move. We'll see. We'll be the first to call it out, though, live inside our trading room. So come feel free to join us. I know that Rich, I know that Fausto will be scanning heading into the afternoon while a lot of us will be in class. Yeah, we got a long list of earnings coming up this week, folks, even with the Fed. So, those stocks will be active off their rightful news and their quarterly earnings. But I'm just saying the markets, the Dow, the S&P, you should just be pretty fat, though, like just like heading into low volume trading periods like right now. Ron, no problem at all, and I apologize for sending that a little bit late there to you, Ron W. Alrighty, folks, I think that we're just about good to go, though. So all in all, we got 2, 4, 6, 8, and then I guess I told myself I would jump back to IZEA, maybe make that 9. I'm a sucker for it. All right, I'll add it. I like the buying that came in off that 7 level. There's been a few times where it's breached over 7 here, and then most recently here. So if we get one more move back over 7, I'm hopeful for a run up. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Oh yeah, that's right. And I wouldn't be finishing up this meeting. I told you folks I'd be going into Riot, the Mara, the Bitcoin. So I do want to show that before I finish up. Jose was getting a kick out of that inside the trading room. I'm a sucker for it, Jose. That's how I end up with like 20 stocks on our list, though. So right now, I'm not really at that level just yet. So I'll feel free to add that IZEA. All right. So Riot, as you could see, we're not going to put on our list, right? I mean, this just is not, tradable whatsoever in terms of its trend. So just wanted to show Bitcoin. It should be good across the board for all of us, inside the trading room now. I know we had some issues last week. Should be good. Good. All right, cool. So with Bitcoin, you could see it made the exact under and over move from 30K. We were talking about that back on Friday. I wanted to show you some lines I had up here just because this will affect Riot and Mara, I greatly believe. So, we could happen to see a big drop off once Riot or once Bitcoin ended up breaking below this bottom trend line, essentially this pennant pattern that was building. So ended up making a very sharp drop off from that point, roughly from like 38,000 its peak year all the way down to 30K under and over. So as you could see, it moved back up. This is like an hourly chart, so I'm trading it off the not trading. I'm charting it off the opens and closes. You could see that it ended up bumping its head right off of this top trend line here where the pennant was kind of forming from. So that was just before over the last few hours. And as of now, kind of just back into this consolidation from where it was moving up from. So, for the meantime, Riot and Mara, I don't think we'll make a serious up move until we happen to see Bitcoin make a sharper run back up. And of course, the markets, the Dow, the S&P could influence Riot and Mara. They will. But with this week being pretty flat with the Fed, I wouldn't expect much of Riot and Mara for that reason. It would have to be based on Bitcoin. So in my opinion, here's what I'm thinking. I don't know. We'll see. I have no idea. I have no insider tip. I'll tell you that much. But it wouldn't shock me with all of these name brand companies coming out with earnings this week, next week, the week after, really the next month, to see more companies announcing that they're going to be devoting a percentage of their principal asset into Bitcoin. So, that's where I said this company, MSTR MicroStrategy, was doing that move back in August, back when they were at like a $250, $300 stock. Well, we know what happened to them. So, we'll see. Our boy Elon's coming up on the 27th with Tesla. So, we'll see what happens there. Michael here at the end, I was kind of flapping my gums about Bitcoin there, so I would have finished up. But Michael was saying here at the end, DDD moving up over the last 30 minutes. It is. That's actually a decent call for right now in terms of its trend up. I feel like given how much it's moved, though, for the day, up and down, and then now moving back up, it's making that, second afternoon move. I wouldn't expect for it to break up much higher and run up much higher. So, given its run right now, this is where I'd start to ask, like, when's it going to start dropping off? Lita's saying pop and drop games are on for Momo. Ooh, this one's a sharper breakout, though. I don't know what happened here, but I rather keep an interest on this Momo, though. Obviously, some sort of news just came out on this trade. It's only up 4%. It's not a whole lot, but man, a lot of volume just came in on the stock. All right, so I guess at the end I'll kind of add the Momo, and that will do. All right, so like I said before, folks, just no shortage of stocks for any one of us not joining us in class. For most of us inside the trading room, though, I reckon I'll see you in class coming up later on today. We'll be talking, like I said, about preparing to trade the live market open. So obviously here at the afternoon, we're not going to be talking about live market scenario. We're going to be looking back on this morning, seeing how we could have prepared better to trade it, and then we'll actually be doing a very continuated follow-up class coming up on Wednesday to finish things up. That will be a live market morning just to kind of show you what happened after the market opened. So I certainly look forward to it. It's one of the more important, one of the bigger classes I teach personally. So I look forward to seeing most of us there. I'll talk to you folks soon.